I'm using Travel Maps 1.0.1.332. And I'll get a map on the screen of a location that I want. All of that works fine. Now I'll add a point. And I'll go to Path and Avatar. And I'll turn that off. Click the next point and it turns the locations all on. Click it off, add a third point, it turns them all back on. I'll try turning these off individually and they don't turn off, only the last point turns off. So there's something strange there with that one as well. So I'll turn them all off and click another point, they all come back on, and of course once again I'll try turning them off, and individually they don't work except the last point. So this is the first problem. I'll turn these back on and I'm going to make them all a little bit smaller. Now I'll go to Photos and I'll select a bunch of photos. I'll put the first photo on the first location as a background, and I'm going to decrease the duration of this to 2 seconds. I'll run that and we can see that it works okay. So now I'll try to add in a second photo as background to the first one. Now when I run it, it gives me the second image. It doesn't give me the first one first. The previous version before this patch worked okay. The normal way to select multiple photos is to select the first one and then hold down Shift and select the last one. However, in Travel Maps, that doesn't work. You have to select them differently. But if somebody does this, it doesn't work. And when you try to drag them, it just goes up and down. If I select none and just select one and try to drag it, that doesn't work either. So if somebody inadvertently uses Shift click, it's going to lock up the program and you can't drag photos anymore. I'll empty the folder and try importing that again. And dragging it, well, that doesn't work either. The only way is to save the project, exit, and come back in. And I've restarted Travel Maps, and I'll open that project up again and open the photos, and I'll try and bring in one of the ones that I had before, and it doesn't even show up in the import list. So there's something wrong with that one. I'll try the other one. That one shows. And I'll drag that one onto location 2 as the background. And let's just try this one more time. Try to get that first one in there. And there's just no way it shows up. So I'll get another one. And I'll drag that one onto location 2. And remember before we had the duration set at 2 seconds? Well, after reopening, saving and reopening, it's gone back to 5. So there's another problem right there. It doesn't retain the setting. Now I'll run that. And we got the first one. And we should have 2 at location 2, but we only get the last one that was put in there. So there's something wrong there. We can't put more than one photo on a location. Now this next one should be on the wish list. If we go to the root, it says line property. In French it says the curve. This should actually say curve or no curve or something like that. And so this toggles between the curve and an angle shape at the locations, but it would be really nice if we could have the settings per location. So one location could have a curve and the next one could have an angle. Something like Vasco da Gama. I've restarted Travel Maps, and this time I'm going to import a GPX route. And in this particular one it's a loop, so start and end locations are at the same position. And I'll go and I'll turn off the text on the end location. I'll run that, and we can see that it works okay. Now I want to add a photo along the route. I'll try and drag it somewhere on there. The only place I can drag it to are the beginning and end locations. It won't stick anywhere else along the route. It would be nice to be able to have it somewhere on the route. Now we'll try to add this in as a background image on one of the locations. Start or end, doesn't matter, but nothing shows up. So that doesn't work. It would be nice to have a slideshow at the beginning or the end or something like that. Probably doesn't really matter, but it should be documented at least. I can, however, go and get an icon for the location and pick an image to work with that, and it shows up and it plays back okay. Now if I want to change that image for something else, I can't do it. If I go back and try to change the icon to click one or the other, it just keeps the same photo. So I'll try removing that, going back and inserting a new one, and it allows me to pick a different image. Now that's the only way to do it, but it would be nice to be able to change the image in that icon without having to delete it and do it again. Now that's not all. I'll delete that and do it again, and I'll select a different photo, but I don't get it. I get the old one. So there's another problem there. I can't even change the photo that's in that icon.